All right, elections tomorrow in Florida, two House races, and the Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin. Uh, Republicans I talked to over the weekend are feeling better about both Florida races. They know close is not comfortable, but close is doesn't won't matter at this point because the expectations game. Wisconsin, the Democrats are feeling pretty good about that. Musk went last night, put up the picture, gave away a couple $1 million to two lucky Badger state voters and wore Cheesehead at his event where he was quite effervescent. So Dan, make the call for the three races, the two Florida House specials and Wisconsin, who will win them.
So I talked to someone at the DCCC. They don't think they're going to win the Florida seats, but they think, as you say, it'll be closer than it should be, and they'll crow that we've got momentum. To your point, in Wisconsin, I think Democrats are optimistic, but they are so spooked about the Trump turnout ability that they are curious, like, are the polls going to be an accurate snapshot, even if it's plus or minus two or three off of what they're seeing. Also, apparently, according to someone at the DNC, Musk continues to not poll well with certain constituencies that he did in November.
Yep.
If Democrats win, but I will be very curious how the party spins Musk as we go into Doge here. Can they start to create some separation between Republicans in Congress and Elon Musk if he is started to be seen as a liability?
Totally agree with everything Dan said. Sean.
I think we win both Florida races. Florida won the Jimmy Patronis race. I feel much better about than the Randy Fine in the sixth. Dan's right. It's probably going to be a lot closer, but enough people woke up. And by the way, just for people on the Dem side, having been on the flip side, I'll say this. Everyone right now, I've already seen some chatter about, well, if the DCCC didn't get in, this is always this teeter where if the DCCC gets in, the NRCC, I mean, you're trying to play this little bit of cat and mouse, which is, I don't want you guys to see us coming in. You can put money in on the ground. I feel for the guys at the D trip, because if they get this within 5 or something, everyone's going to say you should have spent more. And if they did, that would have been a huge tell. But I think Republicans woke up to getting some ground stuff down there. Tom Emmer and Richard Hudson, the NRCC chair, apparently have made it very clear to the Fine campaign to get their act together. In Wisconsin, I'm actually intrigued because Don Jr., Trump himself, Elon now have thrown money and time into that race to turn out people. I was with Reince when we did Scott Walker's first recall. We did obviously, because of Reince's background in Wisconsin, a lot of time in Wisconsin. If they can turn their people out, this is going to be the big issue. It's not easy. It's not cheap. Wisconsin's very, very difficult to poll because of voter reg issue, partisan reg issues. That to me is the wild card. And if you're looking for one tell of all the three races, that to me is the one that I'll pay most attention to.
Yep. A win is a win is a win. I will say, and again, if you want to get in on the conversation here on the two-way platform, please raise your hand. We'll come to you after one more topic at this point. I will say that, Dan, you laid out the case of how people will react if the Democrats win Wisconsin. If the Republicans win, it's going to be a huge sigh of relief, particularly if this tumult continues over tariffs. Their tariffs matter to the small business people in Wisconsin. They matter to the ag community there. If Republicans can win that seat, despite all the noise over tariffs this week, it'll provide some relief to the White House in what otherwise I think is going to be a very rough week.
Well, and it'll be super dispiriting. It'll be very dispiriting to Democrats that thinking they have some wind at their back, that they 100%. Still can't win in Wisconsin.
Yep. So fair enough to say that do we agree Republicans should win both Florida seats? Democrats should win Wisconsin, right? I mean, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I look, I think
they're both good candidates. They're both well funded. I
get it, but I would say that the landscape. I mean, there's a huge reg advantage in the Florida case. I think the wind favors Democrats right now. I would not like that. To me, is not going to be.
Yeah, it's off the year. So Democrats should win it, but it won't be crushing either way. But it'll be noted either way.